Hello and welcome everyone to the Jordan FDA's electronic leaflet requirement presentation. Today we'll discuss the FHIR e-labeling initiative and how I4I can assist. There's lots of information to cover, and we'll have a Q&A session to follow. This presentation is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be made available to all registered attendees. Before we get started, I just want to go over some regular housekeeping. Be sure to have your microphone on mute, and if you use a phone to listen to the presentation, make sure your computer audio volume is off. After the presentation, we welcome questions. You can type them into the chat panel. Be sure to send them to everyone. If you don't see the chat button, click the View menu and select the Show Meeting Controls options. We'll do our best to get to all of your questions. Today we'll start with a basic e-labeling and FHIR introduction, then talk about the process we use when we migrate your current approved labels into the required electronic leaflet. We'll follow that with a live demonstration of what a FHIR e-label looks like, how it's published, how the Jordan FDA validation works, and we'll display an electronic leaflet in the JFDA style sheet. And finally, we'll move to the Q&A portion and answer any questions that you have. So let's get started. First off, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Jacqueline Bruner, and I'm here today with my colleague, Amanpreet Kamp. As a senior regulatory lead, Aman oversees conversion services team, works closely with clients, coordinates global labeling projects, and stays up to date on emerging regulatory guidelines, keeping herself and the team up to speed on developments in the regulatory world.
As Director of Encoding Technology, Jacqueline participates in working groups and oversees the development and implementation of evolving and new regulatory standards for health authority submissions. Now that we have introduced ourselves, let me also introduce you to our company, I4I. I4I is a Canadian company. We made our mark in pharmaceutical structured labeling, working closely with the US FDA on the implementation of the industry's first e-labeling initiative based on the Health Level 7 Structured Product Labeling Standard in 2004. To support SPL, we adapted our patented XML encoding technology and brought a FHIR professional to market, offering industry an in-house authoring tool that plugs into Microsoft Word to create, edit, validate, and publish compliant product labels in XML format quickly and easily. We then added an enterprise version that brings 21 CFR compliant document management, as well as management services for complex labeling processes such as variants and translations for over 100 jurisdictions globally. In 2019, we began working with Health Canada on the XML-PM initiative for structured product monographs, which also followed the HL7 FHIR e-labeling standard. Most recently, we've been working closely with the Vulcan FHIR Accelerator Group as an active member of the EPI subgroup. In parallel, we are engaged with a broad range of other initiatives and standards around the world, which include the development of IDMP, FHIR, and CMC-PQ, to name a few. Along the way, we've built an incredible regulatory team that not only supports customers using our software, but also offer their services to industry on an outsourced basis. I4I has been developing structured content solutions for over 25 years. In 2004, we began working with the FDA and HL7 FHIR group to create the SPL implementation guide, which expanded our commitment to the life sciences industry. We remain active members of various working groups as regulatory standards evolve around the world. We provide services to over 90 pharmaceutical companies. This slide shows our products and services suite. Regulatory Assist is our e-labeling services division, supporting clients globally to comply with health authority regulatory submission formats. In the initial phase for the JFDA, our customers are opting to engage our Regulatory Assist team to convert all of their initial leaflets into valid FHIR format submissions for the January 25th deadline. FHIR Professional, our desktop structured authoring tool, and FHIR Enterprise, our full workflow and process management platform, will be available for the future ongoing management of electronic leaflet updates and submissions to the JFDA after this first re-registration period is completed. And now I'm going to hand the presentation over to Jacqueline.
Thank you, Alvin. I'm going to take a quick look at what e-labeling is and how FHIR is impacting its evolution. E-labeling is a wide-ranging term and covers a lot of different initiatives. E-labeling could be a QR code or a barcode on a package that can be scanned and takes the users to product information on a website. It could be much more by using something called FHIR. FHIR is an acronym for Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources. I'm sure you can guess why the words fast and healthcare are included in the acronym. The interoperability part of the acronym might be a little bit more abstract. FHIR allows data to be exchanged between different healthcare systems, including regulatory authorities, manufacturers, hospitals, doctors, and pharmaceutical companies. And resources describes how the data is held. This map shows the far reaches of the adoption of the FHIR standard for e-labeling. Many regulatory authorities, including EMA in Europe, the FDA in the United States, and those in Egypt, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, Brazil, and more are working on adoption. And we seem to hear about new ones getting on board almost every week. Both the EMA and the FDA have had FHIR EPI pilots. And of course, in Jordan, it will be mandatory in January of 2025. This is all part of a worldwide EPI movement. HL7 FHIR is a more modern exchange standard. It's modular, forward and backward compatible, and it includes the communication API for data exchange on top of the data and the content. And the number of real-world benefits is vast. One of the benefits is that information can be more accessible to everyone, including those with hearing or vision impairment or those that are neurodivergent. Another benefit is that the information can be tailored to an individual patient and only show them the sections of the leaflet that are pertinent to them based on their age, their gender, and the medications they're taking. Global harmonization is another huge benefit that would allow patients to get medications when traveling. It would allow countries to source medications from other jurisdictions and prevent drug shortages. And all of this leads to the most important benefit, which of course is patient safety. I'm going to hand it back over to Alma now to go over the process to convert your approved source leaflets to the FHIR standard as adopted by JFDA.
Thank you, Jacqueline. So a regulatory team follows a comprehensive process when converting your non-structured leaflets into e-labels, including an iterative process in which we work with you to make any updates. I am now going to review each of these steps one by one. To initiate a conversion request, clients can upload the conversion package to our secure portal, providing details such as brand name, type of label, description, and content of labeling. Depending on the type of label, the package contents may vary, and we can work with your team to set this up for the initial request. Once your request is received, it will generate an automated response and a ticket number. Your conversion will be assigned immediately to an available regulatory specialist on our team. Depending on your conversion request, different source files will be required. For example, for a pill update request, we need the existing label in a clean or redacted Word document or text-enabled PDF format, along with all additions you want to be made to the data element section of the label. This can be done by updating the data collection spreadsheet. Once all required source materials and instructions are gathered, our first step is to thoroughly analyze the source files. The assigned team member will carefully review each document and all provided information to confirm that everything necessary is present and the instructions are clear. If we identify any missing items or need additional details, we will promptly reach out for clarification to ensure a smooth process. We then do the migration using our FHIR Professional Authoring tool, a Word-based plugin that we use to create, edit, validate, and publish product labels in the XML format, ensuring compliance and efficiency. As part of our services at I4I, we handle the section mapping between your labels and the JFDA template. This shows the process of migrating from unstructured to structured content for your labeling. Our software has a feature that automatically applies the necessary structure to your content from a regular Word document, and in the background, FHIR does all of the heavy lifting. With FHIR, validation is integrated. You can test that your document is compliant with health authorities' formatting and validation rules at any time during the authoring process. This validation capability alerts you to any potential problems before you submit, reducing delays caused by multiple submissions. FHIR's validation produces two reports, the readiness report and the validation report. Here, the readiness report lists all the formatting tests that it has performed, and it indicates if the test has passed or not. If a test has not passed, warning or error messages provide the user with details about the issue. When the validation report is run, your document is checked against the rules and requirements that are listed in the health authority's guidance. If any violation of those rules is caught, the report indicates both where and what needs to be fixed before you can publish your product label for submission. Once the internal review and validation are completed, we will publish the FHIR XML file and provide you with the final leaflet package via the same method as the initial request. During your review, you can request any minor changes or updates to the label. This cycle can repeat until the file is ready for submission to the JFDA. Once you review and approve the file, you can submit it to the JFDA portal. Our team will support you through the submission process and provide updates or recommendations to navigate any questions that come up. The conversion request will be marked as closed when the submission is successfully received by the JFDA via the portal, confirming it is error-free and accepted. So this concludes our overview of the conversion process. I will now pass things back to Jacqueline for a quick demonstration.
Thank you, Amin. Let's take a look at our application and at the JFDA validation and style sheet. Hope you can all see my desktop. I have a couple of files here. I have my docx file. It's a Word file. I'm just going to open that up. And as you can see, this is a Word file, but it's got some structure to it. If I select a section, you can see that this section is all grouped together in a box. And this section has a little tab here that tells you what kind of section it is. Each of these sections are structured. Structured authoring is actually key to e-labeling. Each of these sections also has a special code assigned to it, which is very important, and you'll see why later on. We also have metadata. E-leaflets do need metadata, and there's two parts. We have this data in dialogues. We have the marketing authorization holder information in one dialogue, and we have another dialogue that shows all the product information. So we've got two different products here, and you can see all of the information here. These drop downs, like the route of administration, the product domain, the product class, are all from lists that were mandated by JFDA. And each of these values has a special code assigned to it. Those codes get assigned in the background, so the user doesn't have to do that. Amin mentioned our two tiers of validation, so I'll show that to you now. First tier is, as Amin said, our readiness report. This is for template compliance. This makes sure that that all of our content is in a structured section, that we don't have word smart art or text boxes, things that we can't use in an e-leaflet. Our next validation is the EPI FHIR validation. Let's click that now. This validation that it's working on right now mimics the JFDA validation exactly. So we can be sure that your labels are valid before you submit. I can see I've got lots of different tests here, but I happen to fail one of them. I'm missing the dosage form in one of my products. Go back, put in my dosage form, and I'll save the file. We can publish this document, of course, to the EPI FHIR, which I'll show you in a moment, also to a clean Word format or a marked up Word format. And that's for if you're going to review your documents both internally or with the health authority, you might want one of these formats. But we're going to publish to an EPI FHIR document. I'm being asked if it's the first version. If it's a subsequent version, we want to retain the IDs that have to be consistent throughout the life cycle of a document. And my file has been published. Let's take a look. There's my file. It's just published. And I'm going to open that up in a little XML viewer I've got here. And you can see the FHIR XML EPI document in here. We've got all of the content. If I scroll down to near the bottom, this is all of the product information. We've got the two products in here, and our organization is also in here. I've also got my Arabic document. I'm just going to open that up. for a quick view. And this just shows you that, yes, we do handle right to left languages, including Arabic. We handle all the languages that Word would handle. I'm going to go to the JFDA portal now, and we'll validate our file. This was the file I created. And it is valid. When you submit an electronic leaflet, it will be automatically linked to the 2D matrix code that's already printed on your medication package. And when that code is scanned, the e-leaflet is going to display in the JFDA style sheet. And this style sheet displays the labels in a consistent manner and has lots of accessibility features. So I'm going to show you that now. You might remember when I was showing you in our template that each section was in a separate box. I said they all had different codes. Those codes actually create this table of contents that allows you to jump between different sections. Some of the other accessibility features are that you can increase the font size and decrease the font size, of course. You can apply different formatting, make it easier for read, line spacing. You can set it to dark mode, light mode. And each section has a text to voice button. So the entire label could be read to. It is now time for the Q&A portion of our session. If you haven't already sent in your questions, then please feel free to do so now using the WebEx chat panel. I think that's it for the questions. Thank you all for attending our webinar. We hope you found this session informative. If you have any other questions for us, or if you'd like to know more about how we can help you comply with the JFDA e-labeling requirement, please send us an email at contact@i4i.com. That's contact@i4i.com. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.